Thank you for joining our press conference ahead of Everton this weekend. Those on the online feed, you can use the raise hand function to ask questions. We will start in the room today with George.
Hi Robert, good to see you. Just go back to last weekend, I guess, first of all, I'm sure you would like the 3 points, but a late goal keeps the unbeaten run going, so please with that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to have a win that game, and we really wanted to have 3 points. I don't really think we played that good football to deserve it. It was actually a tough game. They did well, Brighton. Then, of course, we created a few good chances and so on. So if we scored in the beginning, we might have had that performance. But we're not really there yet where we can dictate the full game. So a draw after being down with 1-0 is good. And it's also nice to not have lost for a few games.
What is the mood like in the camp? I believe this week you all went to Wembley just to sample it. I'm guessing that got everyone excited for the big game coming up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now it's very important to stay sharp for the Everton game, but still also understand that we need to prepare for the next weekend's game. But we did that in the beginning of the week to make sure we've been there and seen where we're going to be next weekend. And then we trained well and prepared us for the Everton game tomorrow. And I think everybody's training well. And so we start with the Everton game, and then next week we're going to put all the focus on the FA Cup.
I guess this Everton game is the last chance for players to almost earn their spot, isn't it, for Wembley as well? So it does laser the focus, doesn't it? For this?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this week, that if we start looking too much about next week, we will probably lose here and now. And if you start losing that, you might lose your spot, or you're not beating yourself into the squad, or we don't really get chances to prepare ourselves. So once again, they have trained very well this week and been focused. So I'm not worried about that.
Just funny for me, a nice fixture for Grace Clinton going back to our old club. How is she, and you feel like she's handling the disappointment of obviously missing out at Wembley?
Yeah, I think you can tell after the semi-final that she was a little bit low and of course thinking a lot about missing the final. But since then and until now, she's trained very well. I think she did a good game last week, and this week she's been really good in training. So she's a very professional young player, and she's learning every week. But yeah, she's trained well, and she's very prepared for the Everton game. And I think she's really much looking forward to almost go home and play and show how good she's been developing this year. So she looks good.
Thanks. We'll go to Ed.
Yes, hi Robert. I spoke to some of the players on Wednesday. They're talking about they had like a bus route for the FA Cup final, but the end of the route was at Wembley. Is that similar for the league, or is it a totally different approach?
It's a totally different approach, because the league, the result in the league is not the main thing this year. So we don't really put ourselves in a goal where we want to be top 3, 4, 5 or whatever. So that's more about how we play in and out of possession, how do we transition, how do we make sure we are braver on the ball. So the league is nothing about like a vision. It's more about an environment we want to create. The cup is a different thing, because if you lose, you're out, and if you reach the final, you play at Wembley, and then you actually it's over. So Vicky did that map to Wembley the first game, just to show that it's a few stops, so you need to win those games, and then you can reach Wembley. And then we started to win, and then we took the journey, and now we are heading to Wembley. And it's a great metaphor to show where we are driving to and what we're going to explore next week. So yeah.
Johnny?
Hi Robert. Everton showed real resolve to come back and draw late on against Arsenal last week. What are the kind of key lessons or points of caution from that fixture that you and your players have taken?
I think when you look at Everton, they play well, they defend well, they press high, and they're not always getting the result, but they actually are a very good team. I think Brian has done a great work with that team and those squad players, because he is using a lot of players, and they never give up. So to show that, they also put on these young players who can also have an impact. So it just shows that this league is very competitive, and it shows, Liverpool beating Chelsea the other day as well, that's why you want to be in this league, because there's so much games where you don't really know who's going to win it, and you need to be very sharp to win a game, and I think Everton have shown that.
And you yourself drew with them in November. How would you reflect on how your side has kind of developed since then, and what do you think your prospects are?
The home game against them was a quite good game, I remember. But then we gave away a penalty in the end, and it was 1-1. But once, we had a good run there for a while, and then we had a few setbacks before Christmas, and then we renewed the squad basically, and then we restarted again, and now we are probably in a new phase where we're trying to make sure everybody in the squad knows how we want to deal with different stuff. And I think some parts of the game we looks really good. Some parts we still give away the ball too easily. We don't really find the right press triggers and so on. So I think for tomorrow is to take another step and see if we can dictate the game or if we need to make sure we find ways to win against them. But once again, Everton at their home pitch is quite a difficult game, so we cannot just go up there and think we're going to dictate the whole game. We need to have a good game plan where we can do both and respect them because they are a good team.
And Beth England's on really good goal scoring form in the WSL, having netted in the previous 3 games. What kind of boost did that give your team to have her firing and being on target so often?
It's really nice to have that because I feel like we've played really good football this year. We have scored a few really nice goals, but we haven't really scored that many goals that we want to have, and we have created quite many chances in most of the games. So we need those players who can step up and show how we score goals, because that's when you win games. And I think Bethany is a great goal scorer. She perhaps didn't reach those situations in the first phase of her returning from injury, but now she's getting there and she's scoring goals, and she's that leader in a role model that we need. And hopefully she can score even more goals and, you know, inspire others to score more goals as well. But she's a great finisher.
And then finally from me, your position in the WSL is quite secure. It's unlikely you'll move up or down. What are the main things you want to see in this final stretch of the season? Is it about kind of setting those standards ahead of next season or developing your performances in any way?
Yeah, I mean, we can still end up at the 7th spots. We need to make sure we try to secure the 6th, or perhaps also go for the 5th, which we can do, but it will be very tough. But the main thing will be to try to have a really good run these last 4 games, to play some really good football and make sure we continue being this consistently good like we have done, and then you can build on that for the next year. And I think you will remember these last games when you go to the summer break and when you come back. So it's quite important to not just fall dead now and just give away the game. So we need to be sharp to make sure we continue to develop, because when we start next year we want to be on a good step to take it to the next level.
Thank you and good luck tomorrow.
Cheers.
Okay, we will move to questions online. Dan.
Hey Robert, hope you're well. I think you're 6 games unbeaten now with 4 pretty big games left, but, you know, has there kind of been any talk on, you know, trying to end the season unbeaten, you know, got 10 games unbeaten?
No, not really. I mean, you don't want to lose, so that's a good thing to go at. But the main thing is take one game at a time and focus on how we play in those games. Sometimes you can actually lose a game and you can be quite happy with how you develop the team and how we do it. So for me, it might be even more important that we play a certain style and lose one of those games than just try to protect the draw or whatever. So we're not playing just to not lose. We're playing to win and score more goals. So no, not really.
And in terms of Everton, you know, how important will kind of the first half an hour of this game be? I'm just kind of thinking, you know, obviously they got that huge goal last week against Arsenal at the end. Presumably they might go into this game with a bit of a bounce and a bit of momentum.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good game the game before that against Brighton as well, where they won. So I think they're doing some good stuff, and I think it's going to be a tough game. But like I said, it's 2 teams coming with quite good form and who want to dictate the game, so it's going to be a good game. I think both me and Brian want to play football from the back, and we want to make sure we play some good football, so it's going to be hopefully a good game. And then we just need to wait and see who can perform the best, who can take care of the chances and so on. But it's going to be a fun game, I would say, because it's 2 teams who want to press and play, which is fun.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Robert. Best of luck. Thank you.
Cheers.
We'll go to Chris.
Hello, Robert. Is there any updated team news at all?
Yes, let me see. So Amy will be out of a small issue, so she will not be with us, but hopefully she can be ready for the cup final. Then Martha, Celine and Drew is back in the squad.
Robert, Beth England today has been nominated for the WSL Player of the Month. I just wondered whether you could talk about how her attitude, her work rate and her leadership has been within the group.
I think from day one, since I came here and I spoke to her when she was at the World Cup, I realized that this is a great person and a great leader. And now she also showed that she's a very good footballer. I mean, I've used her as a 10 for a while in the cup semi-final as a winger, a few of these games, and she are one of the nominated for the Player of the Month, which shows how good she is, right? So. And she was great coming in as a 9 the last 30 minutes of the other game as well. So what she do for the team is brilliant. How she can adapt to different roles is amazing, and how she speaks to the players and all around the environment here is just brilliant. So I'm very happy to have her around, because we're getting into these 4 games now, and she's a rock to have.
Robert, lastly from me, I just wondered, from when you come in to now, who has probably been the most improved, or the players that you've been really surprised by and have really grown this season?
Good question. I mean, obviously, Grace Clinton have gone from a lone player from the championship to start in the Lionesses, so that's obviously a quite good development. And also Celine coming, not playing with the World Cup with Norway and actually starting in Norway. But I think I actually going to name Amy there. She was a centre back, came here, great career, got injured directly, didn't play too much. I didn't know so much about her, and then when she got the chance and how she has developed in and out of possession and being a role model, that shows that you don't need to be 19 to develop and play your best football. It shows that everybody can do it in the right environment, and I think she's been brilliant this part of the season.
Thanks, Robert. Good luck for Sunday.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks a lot.